Hi! Pat McGrath has released her new Star Wars collection and I couldn't help but discussing with you my thoughts. So she has released a comprehensive collection with one type of item that is new, that are those ChromaLuxe Artistry Pigment Star Wars edition. I will put pictures by Trend Mood here, so you will have a reference while I'll talk. But those ChromaLuxe, it should be the same concept of those hourglass singles that I don't have. Nothing really new, and also the colors are so basic. So we have red that, I don't know, I hate reds, you should know at this point. There's a gray, charcoal gray that is promising, but it's too dark for my style of makeup, so not for me. And then you have a bronze that is this usual warm bronze. You know that I'm in my bronze period, but I'm more interested in those grungy olive bronzes and not into these warm ones. And finally you have a peachy pink that can be interesting. I recently purchased a Victoria Beckham lid luster in the color chiffon. The picture describes this as more pinkish shade, but it was a straight glitter, champagne glitter. I didn't like it and decluttered it. So since Pat McGrath products usually have more pigment in it, I'm pretty curious about that peachy pink shade, but I won't buy it right now. If I miss it, no problem. But I'm pretty sure since it's a new formula, new product, I'm pretty sure that these pigments will be released in the future. So I will wait for them and I will wait for a sale. I already did the mistake of buying the holiday collection with only 10% off. That is a launch discount, but I will wait for a deeper discount now. That's my strategy, you know. She re-released the usual Mothership VI. I have a story to tell about it because when this palette was released, I believe it was 2018 when it did, I wrote a post on Instagram saying that this was so boring. I was pissed off, honestly, and the reason was that this neutral part was resembling of this holiday release that should be from 2018 again, and this was the palette was called Bronze Temptation, I think. And you can see that here we have a red and here we have red matte, but I mean same color story. Here we have an emerald green and this is a more olive green, and these two brown colors, yeah, they're slightly different. So this is from the limited edition, that was a holiday limited edition, and this is a little bit darker, but come on, these are the same vibes, right? I wrote it in an Instagram post. The Pat McGrath team blocked me, so I couldn't access for I think a couple of months to the official Pat McGrath website. And yeah, I mean, why? I mean, I just expressed my opinion that this was not something to buy. This was a flop, to be honest. And so my prediction was right. I mean, I had some eyeshadow fatigue at that point, and still I have it now. And I purchased this palette specifically for these two shades, and the reason is that last year this collection was released, was a Suqqu new formula, and you see the similarity. So I thought that these two were a little bit underwhelming. I mean, it's an amazing palette, one of my favorite Suqqu palettes, but sometimes I wanted a glitter that was matched with this combo, and these two are actually similar. I have a video about it. I have a ranking video about my Pat McGrath palettes, and the video that is dedicated to this palette contains also a comparison, because that is the reason why I purchased this palette, because of these two baked shades here. So this is the only reason I purchased this, for sure not for the usual 6 pans here. So my advice for a conscious spending would be, if you want this, if you are in the market for this type of palette, buy it on sale. And to be honest, with my fair skin, this neutral part for me is too dark, too deep, and this is a nice shade, but yeah, not my favorite. I don't like this formula. I only like the Blitz or most special formula, even the new formula from the Quints. This is something ordinary, and I never use this shade. On my lids is a little bit, yeah, lackluster. This shade doesn't give me joy. So I don't use at all this part. The only thing that I like is this dark shade because it's nice as eyeliner, but yeah, nothing more than that. So my conclusion is that this is not worth to buy it at full price, $128, with just a picture of Star Wars on top. That's my conclusion about this palette. I will ignore completely the glosses. I mean, I like Pat McGrath glosses, but I'm not a gloss person, and even I'm not a lipstick person. I sometimes just put a balm and I'm fine with it. So I don't buy any more lip products other than balms, to be honest. And then mascaras, the Dark Star Black, and then the colored ones. Colored mascaras give me, I don't know, 80s, 90s vibes. Not my style, not for me. I wouldn't buy these. So totally uninspired by this part of the collection. And then the Quints. Those Quints, I suspect, are the same silicone and shiny formula as the Holiday Quads. I like that formula, it's very trendy, although for everyday I prefer more subtle shades. About these quads specifically, there's only one a little bit interesting, the one with the green and the blue and a red. So I think it's not that different from the shades that we already have in the Decadence palette. I mean, in the Decadence palette you get a even a duochrome that has some red in it. For me, this is the only red I need. Even this one, I never use it. So then we get a blue, but we also have a beautiful blue. This is one of my favorite blues in my collection, and still is in the Decadence palette. And then we have champagne shades. Come on, I can pick this one as the top one, and then whatever champagne shades you may have from Pat McGrath. I will pick just one champagne that I found here. There's an interesting green because it's a deep olive green, so it should be something deeper than the olive green here in her Mothership VI. So let me see, a deeper version of it. But I mean, do I need that? Maybe not. Let me see what I get from overlapping. This is the emerald green in Bronze Temptation, and let me layer it with this olive green. Again, re-swatched here and layered here. Yeah, that may be the thing. Let me swatch it here without the layering process. So this has more emerald in it because it's layered with this other green. Should I purchase the entire palette because of the green? No, because anyway, it's a deep green that I won't use it all over. This should be something very close to the palette in this Star Wars collection. When I only like a shade, I wait for a deep discount. If I will miss it, I don't care. That's my conclusion. There's a quint that is warm with the usual reddish warm shades with the gold in the middle, totally uninspired by it, so it's a skip. I don't want even to receive it for free. I hate those colors on me, but it would be beautiful if you have blue eyes. I have to admit it. And there's also another colorful palette that unfortunately has a purple and a pink that ruins the quint for me, because I'm allergic to purples, even Pat McGrath purples. I think that purple should be similar to the one in La Vie en Rose palette, another old 6 pan. I have a couple of shades from La Vie en Rose that are these two that do not provoke allergy on me, but I decluttered all the rest. I don't want purple eyeshadows in my collection. There's only one shade I'm interested in that palette. It's a chartreuse color that is not a gold, it's a yellow with some green in it. It's acid yellow with some green in it. That is amazing, and I don't think I have anything like that in my collection. I talked about the Squint by Dior, the Nightbird one, and there's a green here. I use this green to dupe Elisa Eldridge palette. So I have this one, and maybe I can add something from this palette, the Divine Rose 2, that has a gold in it, yellowish gold. So maybe the combination of these two, or maybe I should layer them in the opposite direction. So the gold first, let me put it here, the gold first, and then the green. Let me see how it goes. Yeah, maybe I can get a color like that in the Beautiful Baked formula. Maybe it's something like this, and if I want more green, I can layer more the green shade here. So this should be something like that, maybe a little bit less deep than this shade. I'm very interested in that color, and I think it's unique. Other than that, there's a bright blue. It gives me Gucci vibes, because the first palette released by Gucci had that bright blue, but I have this ColourPop palette I never used that has a very bright blue like this. Let me swatch it for the first time. Oh, that's a nice blue. There's some shimmer. My gosh, there are some gems by ColourPop like this. I will make a video about that. This is an amazing color, come on. But I have to admit, this is a little bit glittery. That one by Pat should be different in texture, but since I would wear this as an accent color, this is fine for me. Having a ColourPop dupe is totally fine. I like this combo, I would wear it once a year maybe. So I can't justify to buy the palette. With that amount of money, I would rather go for the ColourPop Aurora Struck palette. That is very intriguing, to be honest. Have you purchased this palette? I'm considering it. The only problem is that I'm in Europe and it would be too costly for me to buy it. So tell me what you think about it. If you have planned to purchase anything, what is your strategy? So all in all, from this collection, I only like 2 quints, and out of these 2 quints, I like only one color. So I have a little interest in this collection, and I'm curious to know about your opinion. Let me know in the comments. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel, and I would recommend to check my Pat McGrath ranking. I put a lot of effort in explaining my view of the shades and the reason why I purchased these palettes, and also I paired them with designers. I was referring specifically to a collection in Spring Summer 2022, but actually I talked about the designers in general. So I would recommend to watch that series, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.